Welcome back to Against the Storm. I'm Two-Siders. I am bringing you a very special episode where you'll be able to witness not one, not two, not even three, but 4 settlements in the same episode. We are 15 tiles away from the cobalt seal, and we are still missing around 15 seal fragments. So in this episode, we are racing against time to get to the seal before the cycle ends. I even asked you in the community if it was possible, and many simply said no. Technically it is impossible to reach the seal in time, but there is one weird, usually negative event that will actually help us do the impossible. I present to you the race to the cobalt seal. So at this point I'm freaking out, okay? I asked you guys on Reddit if it was possible. I didn't wanna, waste hours of my time constructing multiple settlements to get to the cobalt seal and then just not be able to do it. But I think, either way, let's try. So we have kind of almost enough seal fragments. We are at 53 seal fragments and you need 60 for the cobalt seal. So, but we are kind of far away from the seal. So instead of going for, high prestige games with more fragments offered as a reward, I want to do the easiest difficulty really fast. So we are playing on veteran difficulty only, or maybe it's viceroy. I think it's veteran. Coastal Grove, and let's see if we can do this in like a couple of years. Remember that a month, 2 months ago when I was playing on these difficulties, okay, it still took me like an hour and a half to complete a single settlement, okay? But I'm thinking in my head, I've been playing a lot of higher prestige difficulty games. Maybe I've learned enough that I can actually push myself and complete these easier veteran difficulty games much faster. Let's see if it helps. I immediately begin cutting into all these glades. What I bring myself every time I go to the Coastal Grove is the large fishing camps, okay? Large fishing camps will help us out a great deal here because we find a bunch of fishing ponds. Look at that, all 3 colors of fishing ponds. We even found a geysir and 2 camps with extra villagers. That is so good, guys. We also have the exact 3 races that you need for fast games. Lizards, harpies and foxes, because they have such a low resolve threshold. You can start generating resolve with them super fast. Another thing that will help us achieve our goal of finishing this game as early as possible is completing work orders as fast as possible and as many of them as we can. Because if we can complete the 9 work orders, that's 9 reputation points. We only need like 14 reputations to win. There's 1 done. Cut into yet another glade. Exploit it for its resources. Do the glade event fast. And guess what? We're gonna pick up ranch. We're not gonna pick up a camp, even though it would be faster. But we have all these meat-eating races. Ranch will help us out a great deal to feed the harpies, to feed the lizards. We also get a butcher, the best building we could have gotten, because it can create both jerky and skewers, basically feeding all of our races at once. Overexploitation is the exact cornerstone that we want. It's gonna give us a increased 30% for gathering speed, and it's just gonna spawn us a bunch of blight rot that we don't even care about. We're just gonna try to win before blight rot becomes a issue. Remember that previous quests we've done give us extra villagers, amber, and crystallized dew as well. 15 crystallized dew is awesome because it can help us create fox houses out of thin air basically at the beginning of the game. So the really difficult quests that we got from Joker, that we got, to do the 3 stupid halves, are gonna help us out a great deal at the end of this cycle. We also completed 2 extra glade events here, so it's looking good. We're gonna pick up the Tea Doctor service building, giving us extra resolve for food. Perfect. Because we are playing so fast, we are buying building materials from the trader. We cut into another glade, and we find, I've never seen this building before, lightning catcher. We will try to fix it, which will give us another reputation point. A little while later, we're gonna pick up a tavern, which will give us +3 global resolve as well. Our species have generated some reputation. We completed an extra couple of work orders. hunter-gatherers will increase our camp production. Okay, at this point, we are playing so fast that farms are not really a thing. They are too slow for us. And guess what? A couple minutes later, all 3 of our species are generating reputation. It's a sight to behold. We also sold a bunch of stuff. We got some extra trader wares. And not even half an hour later, we completed our settlement, gaining us 3 fragments. But again, more importantly, by the way, this is how the settlement looks like. More importantly, we get just a little bit closer to that cobalt seal in the bottom right. So let's try to replicate this half an hour success in this game as well. Very similar setup, okay? Another coastal grove. This time we have beavers instead of the harpies. Actually, we have frogs instead of the foxes as well, I guess. And even though it's really hard to please frogs, they're not really gonna generate, I guess, too much resolve for us in this game. They are okay because we can get newcomers twice as fast through a frog half-keeper. We get the cannery. We already completed 2 work orders, if you believe it. If you can believe it. And we find a tincture that is rebuildable in the glade, which will give us dye for the paste, which is super useful for the cannery that we just picked up. Once again, I brought large fishing hut with us, and we find, of course, a bunch of fishing ponds. As a second choice, we get offered these building blueprints. We're just gonna pick up, I guess, the stamping mill, because it helps us create bricks for the frog houses. Yeah, let's pick it up. And finally, like I said, we don't want to F around with farms too much, but Forester's Hut will be able to produce crystallized dew for like tools, so maybe we can win faster. And of course, all of these are awesome. We're gonna pick up the lumber mill instead of the wrench this time. Never mind, it was the wrench that we picked up. Okay, 2-siders. We get all of these building choices because we completed so many work orders. Might as well pick up the weaver. This is the only thing that we are missing at this point. You know, we have the lumber mill, we have the press for the bricks. We are just going to reroll these not so fast, not so great cornerstones. Let's reroll. Might as well pick up Zorg's secret ingredient to get extra food, though it's not really great. Seriously, what are these cornerstones? Let's pick up Back to Nature. We don't really have much food either. I just want to get a bunch of tools quickly, though it might have been a mistake to go this hard for the Forester's Hut. We are just picking the easiest to do work orders, and this beer one is definitely not that, so let's pick the lizard option. This is another game where we get offered Surprise Child, okay? Getting 1 lizard for every 25 eggs. We have the wrench, I guess, though Lost in the Wilds would have been just much easier and better. Getting 2 villagers in a glade is just easier for these quick games than producing 50 eggs. These service buildings are whatever, not the best. We're just gonna pick up Forum for the frogs and the beavers. Maybe we can get some wine either through a seller or through the trader like the last game. We are selling the ancient tablets for some pickled goods materials and boots. And finally, our lizards are producing enough resolve and reputation. Not great orders, okay, it's impossible to get these done basically. So we're just gonna pick whatever. Maybe this one will be better. Deliver storm water, also not great. We don't really have storm water geysers around. We cut into another dangerous glade. Might have been a forbidden one even, not even sure. To find a large encampment that will help us get another reputation point and win that much faster. Seriously, what are these cornerstone? So believe it or not, we're just gonna pick up Royal Guard training, getting +5 to brawling. We do have the frogs and the lizards, the 2 races that do brawl, and the forum where we can do brawling, I guess, but we need to construct a bunch of training gear, so it's not great. Probably would have been better to pick up the other cornerstone that boosts resolve by 5. Couple of minutes later, for a while only lizards were generating reputation for us, but we did fulfill some awesome services for both the frogs in terms of training gear and beer for the beavers. To be honest, I don't even know how we created those things. Maybe we picked up a building, maybe it was just glade events, maybe it was a trader. Doesn't really matter, guys. I mean, we are going to be winning. This time it took us a little bit longer. Okay, we are in year 5. So not the same year 4 or whatever year 3 win it was previously, but still we are on a good track, that much closer to the cobalt seal. However, next time we cannot win that fast because on one hand we are getting so far away from the citadel that it has to be... never mind, it's a Viceroy game. So look at that, it's so stupid. If I click to the left of the ancient battleground, it's Viceroy minimum difficulty. On the right, it's Prestige 5. But I don't know which one's closer to the seal, you know? So I pick Prestige 5 instead because it seems a little bit closer. We basically need to make sure that every single space that we move on the map gets closer to the cobalt seal. So the next game we are going to be playing is going to be on Prestige 5, unfortunately, which is going to be much slower than this veteran difficulty game. But let's try Prestige 5, Ancient Battlegrounds, taking some frogs and foxes with us. One farm building, an extra bit of meat. I have zero recollection regarding this game. Anyways, in this game we pick up a furnace that is able to produce pies, and we have a rain mill that can create flour. The furnace can also create skewers for the foxes, and the third secret species is going to be humans, which is really good because we exactly needed some extra farming capabilities. We found some fertile soil in the dangerous glade that we cut into in the north, so humans were the perfect choice. I'm really high strung in this game. People are leaving. We need to win as early as possible, and I'm not sure if it's possible to reach the cobalt seal. For all I know, we could be wasting our precious time with this settlement. Once again, we pick up small distillery, getting crystallized dew for resin. Hopefully we can pick up a forester's hut. And we pick up a timed order, a similar one to the previous episode you've seen. Quick packaging. We need to construct a bunch of provisions, packs of crops and building materials. And then the makeshift post will become 50% better. And some other benefits we'll get. We complete the first timed order, okay, successfully. We get another one offered, frog colony. Construct 8 frog houses. Not really easy, especially when we have almost no more clay left. But I take a gamble and we get Sahilda buying all of her bricks up. So with Sahilda's help, we are able to construct all 8 frog houses, and we get stones per minute. Very, very important, because we haven't found any stone or clay. In this settlement, we have to pay wood because of our high hostility level. Every storm season, hostility is a real issue in this settlement. This is a settlement where we get tea house and also the temple. One of the buildings is producing incense, because believe it or not, we get the exact same 3 races that use or have religion as a complex need. These are the only races that have religion as a complex need since the new update, so it's paramount that we increase their religion usage. Oh, and yeah, it is a tea house that can create incense. That's kind of weird. I think they changed that in the new update. Unfortunately, it's not super easy to create incense. And we get an awesome synergy, Mark of the Sealed Ones. Whilst the ancient hearth is corrupted, sacrificing goods will burn for 50% longer. And the ability of the temple that we picked up is that for every 200 resources sacrificed in the ancient hearth, or whatever, 200 seconds, the hostility gets reduced. Okay, so we want a way to create efficient fuel. Not so much the sea marrow that we created or mined out, but you know, wood, coal to reduce that hostility and then get even more benefits in the over the long term using the temple. We cut into another glade, Totem of Denial, one of the more important glade events I think to complete. I don't remember what it gives. Might be the other one that gives global resolve actually. We are going to be creating another villager hub up in this north dangerous glade. I picked up a large herbalist camp from the trader because we found large berries as well. We get offered a press that is able to create oil that will boost global production speed in the hearth. Exactly what we needed with the temple. Remember, we do have a farm that is not producing that much grain, but we also have some fabric material that we can use to create oil from. Yeah, game, really funny. Dye extractor. Fans of this channel that watched the previous episode know why I hate dye extractor. We're just gonna pick up 50% extra yields from the farm. Awesome upgrade. And by the late game, we have 2 harps. Humans and frogs are producing resolve for us, which is really surprising that it's not the foxes, but I turned off consumption control for the foxes because they have already produced... Yeah, technically, I just remembered, foxes have produced so many resolve points already that they are really high in their resolve threshold. So, like a good gamer, it's important that you do this as well. If a species doesn't reach their resolve threshold, you should turn off consumption control. Stop the foxes from eating the skewers, the religion, the boots, the pickled goods, because there is no point wasting it on them if they are not producing you resolve. And of course, once they reach it again, then just turn it back on. I find it difficult to calculate if a species actually reaches the resolve threshold with the consumption control panel, but I think they have some good numbers there. I just haven't did the maths in my head. I'll have to create another video regarding the consumption control in the future. We get our final storm season at the end of the game. Lightning striking my camera. Luckily I didn't forget to turn back consumption control on the foxes, so they are not leaving. And in the end of the game, every single one of our races is generating reputation for us and in great numbers, so it's only a matter of time until we win the game. We have only 1 settlement left to complete until we reach the cobalt seal, and it's not gonna be easy, guys, because that 1 settlement will not give us enough movement, right, to get to the cobalt. Look how far we are. That's 2 more settlements, right? However, because we just did the Ancient Battlegrounds world event, and it's a negative world event, we just got this royal resupply, and probably the only time you'll ever see anyone do this, we are going to get the caravan wagons from the royal resupply. And with the caravan wagons selected, now we have 2 extra movement spaces on the map. So with this, final settlement will be just... Look at the bottom. Actually, you can't see the bottom right because there's an extremely large man there. Let me turn him off. Look at that. You might be confused, but we can complete 1 more settlement until the end of the cycle, and you can, in fact, start doing the seal if you're at the very end of the cycle. So, and we have 58 seal fragments in the top right, as you can see. So we just have just enough time to do 1 more settlement. And by the way, this settlement can take 20 years. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna go to the end of the cycle, and as long as we win, okay, not gonna be easy. As long as we win, we'll be able to start the cobalt seal. So let's try that in this Scarlet Orchard Harpy game. We are just right next to the cobalt seal. The harpies and the humans that we take with us have commonalities such as coats. And I'm just gonna call this map Red Ridge Mountains. Let me know in the comment section below if you get this reference. We get literally the best building that we could have gotten. Yes, lumber mill is awesome, but again, we want the weaver. Harpy houses only consist of fabric for whatever reason. It doesn't even make sense. They are not American, so their houses shouldn't be made out of paper. We're also picking, even though it's so bad, but cannot pick the brickyard, have to pick the wrench, because guess what? The 3rd species that we gotten was lizards. And lizards and harpies are the poster childs for meat products. Luckily, we also picked up the smokehouse. I'm so livid with happiness right now because jerky 3 stars is exactly what we wanted. We can even use the smokehouse to produce jerky at 3 stars and use the jerky that we produce to make skewers. I used to think that, well, it depends. So a lot of people in the community don't really know, neither do I, whether you should use raw meat or jerky for the skewers. For all intents and purposes, let's just say that if you have bad recipes of skewers, it doesn't really matter. And jerky, you know. But now that we have a 3-star jerky making place, a smokehouse, we really should just use jerky. As you can see, I'm turning off eating meat and eggs in the consumption control because I just want to feed everybody this awesome jerky. We get more jerky per meat that we put in as an input product, and we can use that to further create skewers. We cut into a glade and we find some fertile soil. Normally we wouldn't cut into small glades ever, but the human ability revealed to us that there is fertile soil there, so let's just go with that. Peasant supplies, literally one of the most broken cornerstones in the entire game. I really hate it. I wish it was... It cannot even be really nerfed, to be honest, because how are you gonna nerf it? Reduce it down to 1 provision per villager? That just sucks. Even though we paused on the brickyard and the lumber mill, I am very happy with our initial building choices. I am using the consumption control to its max in this game. It might not be perfect, but it's much better than never using it like I used to before. Now guess what? We get one of the more disgusting orders. Not this one, this is awesome. Distant journeys cut into 5 glades. Now the reason why this is disgusting, and we will attempt to do it because the brickyard is there once again. The reason why this is disgusting is because cutting into glades is such a massive risk. Half the time, even if you do this order, it's kind of difficult to do because you just have to construct like 3 woodcutter camps to do it. Half the time, you're just going to lose anyways because you cut into 5 glades, you increase the hostility by so much in the early game, it's not even funny. And you don't really get that much out of it. I mean, yes, if you are specialized in gathering one of the resources, then maybe you find some in one of the 5 glades or 2 of the 5 glades. But the issue is that you're probably gonna cut into small glades, right? You're not gonna cut into 5 dangerous glades, let alone forbidden glades. You're gonna cut into mostly small glades. And cutting into small glades is just bad by itself, okay? Now, we cut into 1 dangerous glade. The other 4 glades are all gonna be small. And let me tell you, cutting into these 5 glades really set us back a bunch, as funny as that sounds, because of the amount of hostility. We find an apothecary. Not super great, because we already have a way to create jerky. Okay, through the smokehouse, a better way. But porridge is pretty good, okay, and tea is just okay. We only have the harpies that drink tea. We also find a corrupted caravan. We will try to cleanse it, okay, because the other option seems to be much more difficult to do. We would need 30 containers and then 15 provisions. Luckily, we can cleanse it because harpies come with coats, and I also kind of disabled the consumption control for harpies, even though there are some remnants wearing coats, as you can see on the left side. Now, for cleansing, we also need 6 purging fire, so we immediately need to start working on this blight post. At this prestige level, we are playing on prestige 10. All glade events, I'm pretty sure even at this point, all glade events take more time to complete, so it's not looking good, guys. I'm not gonna lie. You really need to have all the resources when you open up a glade, because 13 minutes is just not enough. And as you can see, it takes 7.5 minutes to complete the glade event. We don't have any foxes, so even worse. I didn't want to say in the intro, but I'm wearing... Actually, I didn't have to say anything because there's a microphone in my face. I'm wearing a shirt with a collar because I was shaving, and normally I don't shave bi-directionally. I'm not sure about you guys. Let me know in the comment section below. I shave like that boy band, okay? Just one direction because I have really sensitive skin, I guess. I'm not even sure, like, how can you tell if someone sends this? It doesn't matter. And my neck literally looks like I'm a meth addict or something, dude. So, but luckily we have this giant microphone in my face. Like I said in a previous episode, I hate it that it's covering up my face so much, but the sound is much better when I'm in front of the mic, so I have to be in front of it. And because of the way I speak, I need this giant mouth guard, or not mouth guard, speed guard, I think it's called, filter, because I have really bad plosives. PB. Tried everything, man. I tried putting like a cap on the like I bought actual like microphone caps. I put it on the microphone and it doesn't really help. But anyways, forgive me for my ramblings. Normally I only talk about the game, and I don't know if it might be too technical for some of you guys watching. So I wanna put some soul into these videos, so to say. Now we have 2 minutes left, as you can see on the top right, to complete this timed order, and we cut into the glade, luckily. And don't really have, you know, distillery. It's not great, okay, because it creates incense for religion, ale, and also pickled goods. Well, all 3 of these options only cover 1 race at a time. So it's not super amazing. So I don't remember if I probably don't buy this. I recorded this game like 3 weeks ago. So yeah, I paused 2-siders, also figured that it's not worth the money. Might as well get a different building. Okay. Good news is that we get the brickyard from the stupid timed order. Bad news is that we are almost at level 3 hostility. And technically it's because... yeah, because we had the second woodcutter camp, but it still really sucks, okay? It's like we have a second woodcutter camp right now with all this hostility from the small glades. It really feels like I used to make posts about this on the community forum, that people... obviously, I'm not like the best player ever, but it's like people don't get some of the, like, I guess, intricacies. I don't want to say that I get, but I realize about this game and how some tactics seem really random and not really good and really niche, okay? And one of these tactics is these cutting into like glade events type of orders and playstyle, and for instance tools, opening up caches for all those cornerstones that, you know, benefit you for opening up caches, and getting tools, and all these cornerstones are so sucky. There's literally one cornerstone where if you cut into glades in the storm season, you get like 3 tools. You know what you can do with 3 tools? Absolutely nothing. After a couple of prestige levels, to open and send a medium-sized cache, so that's like I guess it's like a large cache or whatever it's called, the largest cache, but I'm pretty sure it's just called medium cache, is 24 tools, okay? So you would need to cut into 8 glades in storm season, let alone, to get enough tools to just open up 1 cache. And it's not gonna reward you like multiple reputation points either, it's just gonna reward you 1. Maybe it's like 0.75 as well. Not even 1. And that's just one example. All these like tool and all these like exploration related cornerstones are just so... And there are those like glade events, one where you have to complete loyalty events and then hostility gets reduced, but you don't even know if you're gonna get a loyalty glade event. For all you know, you cut into the next 5 dangerous glades and all of the like good options are not even loyalty, it's the other one, you know, whatever it's called, no nobility, or I don't even know. It's completely random, and in games like this, randomness is not good. These are the options we get in year 2. Global resolve is boosted by 5 for every open glade. And this is why I really hate about the open 5 glade events order as well. You open 5 glade events and then you get cornerstones that benefit from opening glades, and they are not retroactive. So it's just like, basically, once you open up like 5 glades in an order like this, you're not gonna open a single other glade in the game. So now the opening glades strategy is now completely obsolete for you. I reroll so many times. I'm sure I passed up on some good cornerstones, but again, I'm trying to go for, you know, farming related stuff, stay in one place, safe. And this time, I haven't picked this one yet. We're gonna go with counterfeit amber, which will give us money for using rain engines. Okay, not great because we don't have frogs, and frogs are just, they just get a comfort bonus for rain engines. Okay, but it goes deeper than that, because like, we check out the previous episode if you haven't already, the clay pit episode. It's ridiculous. Frogs, if you have frogs, you're probably gonna pick up the clay pit. Not that you wouldn't pick up the clay pit anyways, because it's the most broken building in the entire game, but still, frogs get a 10% extra double yield chance for clay pit. So it's just even more incentive to pick, you know, rain engine related stuff is when you have frogs. In this game, because of the hostility increase from the glades, we have to be on our A game when it comes to consumption control, and every single building that we pick up that creates some complex items need to be utilized at all times. The smokehouse has to create jerky constantly. Soon we will pick up a building that can create coats for the humans and the harpies. There's the forester's hut that is able to create resin for us for the coats. Okay, cooperage is there, also good, again because of the coats mainly. I'm looking at the map. I'm looking at the copper as well, because cooperage is able to produce barrels that are used, you know, for the pickled goods for the lizards. We can create those in the field kitchen, but anyways, I picked the cooperage mainly for the coats, and we have to make sure that at least one villager is working the cooperage at all times. Luckily, since the new update, it's much faster to create coats. I kind of wish in the next update they will speed up boot creation as well. Not to the level of coats, because coats do require 2 ingredients since the new update, and boots only require 1. Okay, but I still want to have faster boot production. There's the clay pit again. Freaking clay pit. Of course, it's the freaking clay pit. Kiln, kind of useless because we already have... Oh, actually, I'm not sure. We have copper on the map. I'm not sure about the coal. Clay pit, again, we are in such a bad position that we might as well get the clay pit. Okay, it's not even funny. We're even gonna delete some soil up there, because we already have a sort of villager hub with a warehouse. So if I place the clay pit in the other location, then I have to create roads and infrastructure around. So yeah. And another good reason why I picked up the clay pit is because, quite simply, we found clearance gazier, and you need clearance water to make the clay pit work. If we find storm water geysers, we can also use it to boost the clay pit. I'm telling you, it's the most broken building in the entire game. I just updated the wiki page on the clay pit. I added some strategies for you guys. Go check out the Hooded Horse wiki. Do not use the fandom wiki. Fandom is actually cancer. It's so bad. They're only doing it for the money. And it's so sad that the fandom wiki is the first Google result search. So don't go there. Go to the second result, which is the Hooded Horse wiki, because it's more up to date and it has more information. Basically the 2 things that you want from a wiki. Okay. We are in the year 2 storm, and of course lizards are leaving, and I cannot boost them because then the other 2 races are going to be leaving, but I'm ahead of the curve a little bit. I create some lizard houses ASAP, and we survive this storm. Let me know in the comment section below. So we have some newcomers, you can see it on the top right. I can never calculate in my head if newcomers are going to cause the species to have a decreased resolve. At this point I probably can, because we are almost at level 3 hostility in the top center. That makes sense, but I'm talking about You know, when newcomers come, they come without the complex needs. But they have to go and have a break and eat stuff. So I can never calculate in my head if it's bad to accept newcomers or not. I don't know how to calculate it. Probably some really complex stuff, actually. You have to keep in mind that more villagers increases hostility, and also they don't have the complex needs fulfilled until the next break cycle, so... Ugh. I'm not a math guy. These are the cornerstones we get in year 3. We survived the storm. I get Titan belts. One of the better cornerstones, especially if you have provisions that you get for free from villagers. Basically, every single trade route costs 1 less provision. This means that trade routes that cost 1 provision now cost 0. So insanely good. And I hate picking overpowered cornerstones and buildings because I just hate overpowered things in video games. I wish it was more balanced, but it's impossible to balance everything. Now I'm sacrificing basically everything in my inventory that I can sacrifice just to get fuel reduction, because since the last video that I posted, I am very paranoid about the fuel. We also don't have beavers to cut wood more efficiently. We don't have efficient fuel. Yes, I could have picked the kiln, I realize, but the other building option was just better. And we also are not on the Royal Woodlands biome where you get twice as much wood. So fuel is something we have to get ahead of in time. Because of the increased hostility, we are forced to disable all the woodcutter camps throughout the storm seasons. Otherwise villagers would be leaving, which leaves us even more vulnerable to fuel-related shenanigans. Now, it's not looking good, guys. Both lizards and harpies are leaving, and I cannot really boost either of them without the other one leaving. So we are just going to boost harpies, and lizards are at -10. Super bad. I didn't show you the forest mysteries. They're probably not that important, I guess. It's too bad that we didn't get a drizzle water geyser. Not only because it's the best water type in the entire game. Should be nerfed, to be honest. Not only because it's the best water type, but the positive forest mystery is that generating drizzle water also generates some clearance water by itself. We're also fighting the blight, and we have 0 fuel. I'm trying to assign lizards to like the blight post and the range so they get some resolve, but it's more about, you know, timing. Sometimes you cannot generate enough resolve to a species until the very last second of the storm, because that they need a couple of extra seconds so their resolve climbs high enough, and this is one of those cases. Even misclick, I think, and yeah, lizard builder leaves technically in the drizzle season. Feels bad, man. Firelink ritual would be nice. However, lizards no longer have the religion need as of 1.4. And calming water just sounds okay. We get reduced hostility for using water engines. We have another cornerstone that uses water engines as an input product, so there's some synergy there. Getting +3 to bricks is so broken, okay? You construct 2 bricks per 2 clay. +3 to bricks is 250% brick production to the previous one. It's much better than buying an herb garden or, you know, crude workstation production. From the extra bricks, we are just able to construct so many packs of building materials, and even though we don't have frogs, you know, we can still upgrade the other houses. We can sell it to traders. It's just really nice. So let's just get +3 to bricks. We constructed a simple rain collector to get drizzle water, and finally we are able to boost the wrench. Kind of important. We also started making building material packs that we can sell. another synergy through the Titan belts, you know, zero cost provision routes. Finally, we get a lumber mill option. However, the supplier is just a little bit better. Okay, yes, we are really struggling for fuel, and 2-star planks are actually much worse than 3-star planks. At 2 stars you need 5 wood, at 3 stars you only need 3. It's a pretty decent upgrade to get a lumber mill instead. However, I do really want the flour because we can create pie for both humans and lizards. Once again, I am working the consumption control to the max. We have an order ready to be delivered. However, if we deliver the aiding the flock order, we run out of boots and coats. Sounds really nice to say boots and coats and boots and coats and boots and coats and boots and coats. Feels like I'm in a 2000s underground club or something. If we deliver the boots and coats, then lizards and harpies are surely going to be leaving this settlement. So we wait until the next season, and we can just, not really self-consciously, we can safely boost the lizards, and none of our 3 species are leaving this storm. In year 5, lizards are ready to generate reputation for us, and we also pick up a kiln. Not even sure from where, to be honest. Zero idea where we got that kiln from, but we can finally create some coal. It's gonna be super useful, like I said. We got offered peasant supplies once again. I just don't want to pick it in every single settlement that I do. I am kind of very afraid of corruption in the hearth. Even though this settlement, I kept a watchful eye on it, and we are pretty good, okay? But it's at 100%, as you can see on the bottom right. Next year, so year 6, we're gonna get a bunch of like 200% or 300% corruption once again because of the prestige level. So Firekeepers, the cornerstone that we just picked up, it doesn't have with fuel directly, but what that cornerstone does is when you destroy a corrupt bulb, a cyst, it reduces the amount of corruption by more. So technically it saves on fuel because you don't need to clear out all that hundreds of percent of corruption. You only need to clear like a certain percentage and just leave it for the next year, I guess. What it also does is it makes sure that you only need 1 blight post. Like at like 300-400% you really want 2 blight posts with 6 workers, but with that Firekeeper cornerstone, whatever it's called, less workers are required to keep the corruption in check and reduce it more. Finally, we can start making use of the clay pit. We just didn't have enough workers to get started on it. You know, you have a good settlement, I guess, when you are always behind on resources. You're always planning the next move. We get offered grill. Finally, we're gonna have a grill friend. Grill is awesome because skewers are produced at a better conversion rate, and so is paste. Now it sucks that both of these are already in the field kitchen. Makes the grill kind of bad, and copper bars at 1 star. I just want something that can smelt copper bars at all. But, you know, paste, skewers, we have races that eat both of these, and the better conversion rate just saves on our food. We are still not awesome about our food. If you check the center top, the top center, we are at 150 food at the moment, so the 2 small farms are not producing that much, and any extra grain that we get just gets used up in the ranch. Now soon for the clay pit we can use reed. Another reason why the clay pit is so broken, the reed that you produce there can just be used to feed the ranch even more. So hopefully that eases up on our grain production. I was really waiting in this settlement to get any sort of grain production bonuses. Yes, we got like +1 to grain or whatever through the order that we haven't even completed yet, by the way, because I see in the bottom left that we don't have +1 to grain. But that's just nothing, okay? I'm looking for like grain bags. Every 25 times you produce grain, it increases by +1. Even though I explained in other episodes that it's not nearly as good as the mushroom production version of that cornerstone, or even the meat production through the ranch, because you produce a lot of grain few times and you just really want to be producing few amounts of stuff many times to get that 25 times bonuses rolling. Here are our options. There is the greenhouse, of course, probably the second most broken building in the entire game, though you have to get lucky to get the fungal guide cornerstone. There's the skewers, of course, that we just picked up. Now there is dye. We need dye because of the paste, but I am 99% sure that on this map, cutting out trees also gives us dye, and you technically don't really need a dye production building because of that. The community hates making dye, but dye is one of those ingredients that you produce a lot of and then you don't really use much of. So getting the dye from trees on this map is completely fine. You don't need to pick up a separate building in most cases, especially when you only want to create like paste from it. Remember, we have the resin from the buffed clay pit. It didn't used to have resin as an option to create. We have the resin to create coats, so yet another reason that we don't need a separate dye production building. It's interesting that we only have one hearth. It wasn't my intention. Okay, I wanted a second hearth, but unironically, it was such a good choice by all two-siders because we are still... Yes, we got the kiln recently, but we are still really starved for fuel, and a second hearth would use twice the amount of fuel. So, actually a good option not to get a second hearth. We are kind of in a central location, okay? Yes, the two farms are pretty far away, so that ruins our farm production. The fact that all workers have to run back to the hearth to eat and rest. But I guess it's a fair trade-off for the extra fuel. But then again, we would get less hostility if we had a second hearth, so who knows. We are in year 5's storm. And we did pick up the cookhouse. All the other options were kind of okay as well. I picked up the cookhouse simply because of the biscuits, I guess. And it can create dye in case we need it. Everybody's leaving once again. I'm trying to favor swap. Use this favor swap technique to boost the race that is leaving, in this case the lizards, and then remove it. But at this prestige level, the storm is so long that you can only really do this in quarters. You cannot favor swap. Oh, we get +2 to grain just randomly from a mystery box. That's so good. Woodcutter sprayer is unironically one of the best things we could have gotten. It destroys all of our fuel, but now wood production doubles. It's actually one of my favorite cornerstones because I had a coastal groves game. Even though I had beavers, we got that cornerstone and we could just produce so many building material packs. It was so good. It's really one of those cornerstones that it's best used with multiple woodcutter camps, so kind of kills your hostility to get multiple woodcutter camps, but it is what it is. Of course, we get a bakery right after we pick up the cookhouse. Bakery is much better because it can create pies at 2-star level. So because of that, we're just gonna pick up the furnace instead. Kind of useless too, but again, we pick it up for the pies and it can create copper bars at 2 stars. Right now we only have a 1-star copper bar recipe. So at this point, it doesn't really matter what we pick, right? The game is kind of set. We have what we have. Only a few cornerstones and buildings would be insane at this point. And even though one of the races was leaving over the year 5 storm, in this drizzle season, clearance seasons, we are generating a lot of reputation. Both lizards and harpies are generating it. I still cannot get that stupid human resolve order done that would have given us +1 to grain. This is not really a human settlement. We are behind on porridge at all times. We still don't have pie. We don't have any services whatsoever, okay? And we're also behind on biscuits and human houses, so no wonder the humans never generate reputation. But it's mostly about the really high reputation threshold that the humans have. I'm designing this little park building section. It will look kind of cool, but it's completely well, it increases the neighborhood level and that's it. We're also producing some boots. I don't remember which building we picked up for the boots. It's probably a 2-star one. You really need the cobbler, because a 2-star building takes 2.5 freaking minutes to produce 10 boots. Ridiculous. Finally, we get a service building so late into the game. Clan hall is kind of useless because we don't really have any camps. A clan hall would double the camp production. However, it's really good for the 2-man effect that will give extra resolve to meaty food like paste, skewers, jerky, and pie. And we have a lot of races that make use of these food items, especially, well, mainly, you know, lizards and harpies, but even humans eat pie, so it's just all around a really cool effect that was added in the recent update, because Clan Hall used to have religion, but now that lizards don't have religion anymore, religion was removed, but it gained in, I would say, maybe an even better effect that all these meat items give extra resolve. At the very, very end of the game, year 7, we start working on our second half finally. And at this point, we're gonna pick up everything from the next trader. We have a bunch of gold through the trade routes, and also from using all those rain engines, if you remember. We have a bunch of counterfeit amber. Hopefully they don't look us up. And we are going to slowly cruise into victory. Even humans are generating reputation for us. All 3 races. Feels good, man. Hopefully we can finish this until we reach the storm season, because I really don't want to wait another year. And yes, we race into victory. Year 7, clearance season win. This is how the entire settlement looks like. All those stupid little glades cut down in the first order. And I'm really chuffed, guys, because I recorded this 3 weeks ago. I haven't played the game in the last 3 weeks. Next episode is going to be the Cobalt Seal. I'm really, really excited and scared to attempt to reforge it. So as a next video, do check out the Cobalt Seal.